Hey, this is me building and strategizing a $2 million a year business in public. Last month, I made 139 grand. Next month, I want to hit 167 grand. And this is basically how I do it. So I start off with some Q&A, and you can have any question of yours answered here just by posting underneath one of the videos on the Daily Updates channel. Then I do growth stats where I cover my Instagram, my YouTube, and so on and so forth. Then finally, I do some live strategy, which in today's case is going to be building out a website using Webflow. So first things first, that is not the channel. Let's go to this channel over here, scroll all the way down to the bottom and answer a question. And the very first one I had to open and extend was from Anas, which is very long. So it's not that your question is long. You just added a lot of context here. So I'm just going to summarize it for everybody. Basically, Anas has started an email campaign. He sent 2K emails. He's gotten 8 opportunities out of the 2K emails and 0 conversions. Now, we're unclear on what exactly a conversion is in this case. I don't know whether he's talking like a meeting booked or whether he's talking a client closed. So I'm just going to cover both scenarios. He's saying that he's struggling to get people on the call, and he wanted to know how important it is to show the client the actual product video because he has experience and he also has social proof. All good questions. And should the product AI content automation be good enough beforehand, or is this something I can worry about later? So, he gives some context here and then compares me to Iman Gadzhi. I certainly hope so. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, let me just answer your question. So basically, 2K emails sent, 8 opportunities, 0 conversions. In the case that these 8 opportunities aren't converting into meetings, okay, let's just run some quick numbers here. Oh, by the way, you mentioned an open rate's below 25%. This could be a problem. I personally don't really think that stuff like this really matters these days because the vast majority of email platforms like Gmail and Outlook and stuff, they actually kind of screw up open rate tracking. Some of them will open your emails for you. Other ones won't register opens. Other ones have like nowadays they're like built-in security that blocks the opening pixel from even firing and stuff like that. So, I mean, I personally wouldn't even worry about this, but it is a good opportunity for you to at least check your deliverability. At least check whether or not your emails are landing in spam. There are a couple of services that allow you to do this pretty quickly. Check like Glock apps over here for email deliverability testing, and then also just go like Mail Tester or something. One of these, just a spam test. So do one of these and then jump over to Glock apps. They have a spam checker here, which is basically the same thing. Just see if there's any differences there. As long as your emails aren't actually landing in spam, the rest of my answer is going to make sense. So yeah, let's just, let me go all the way down here to this whiteboard because I think that's probably a little more illustrative. And then we can just work through the math together. Boy, oh boy, do I have a lot of freaking messages. Jesus, good God. Okay, I might have to make a new one because this is getting pretty out of control. So, if we're just frank, you have 2,000 emails sent. And then I'm going to pretend that this is the meeting situation in which you are only booking 8, well, not only, but you are booking 8 meetings as a result. Okay. So if we just do the math, what is 8 divided by 2,000? Well, that is going to be 0.4. I don't know. Let's do the math. 8, 2,000. Yeah. 0.12. Actually, I think it's 0.4. It's a 0.4% positive reply rate. Okay. Positive reply rate. That's kind of what we call it in cold email. So a positive reply could be everything from "this sounds great" to "more info, please." Right? Basically, if I'm honest, positive reply in cold email is any situation which the customer doesn't tell you to screw the hell off. Because a lot of people are going to tell you to screw the hell off, especially if your copy's trash. So is a 0.4% positive reply rate good? It's not the best. It's not the best, but it's not terrible. Okay. Out of 2,000 emails to get 8 meetings, to get 8 positive replies, I should say. That's my first case. It's not terrible. Okay. I've had campaigns that have operated between 0.5 to 1% positive reply rate that have still made a lot of money. And a lot of the people in my communities have campaigns that operate around there. They just send higher volumes and they eventually do net, a ton of business. The best campaign I've ever had has been 25%. Not 25%. Let's just say 20% because I'm hedging my bets here. Somewhere between then and I just don't, between that range and I just don't fully remember exactly what it was. So if you think about it, like if this is one of my best and this is yours, right? There is a big gap here, massive gap, huge opportunity to improve. So realistically, when I see things that have a very very low positive reply rate, my take is your copy probably blows. So there's some ways we can improve the copy, which I'll run you through in a second. And then 2, it's probably some strategy, aka like the audience. And then there's probably some tactics. Strategy is kind of like larger level thinking, and then tactics sort of like day by day granular thinking. Stuff like sending times. Stuff like sending days. Stuff like spin tax, etc. Then obviously you have your deliverability, okay? But I think probably, and this is kind of my hack here, okay? I think copy is really the biggest thing here, because I've had campaigns in which all the rest of this shit sucks. Terrible. This, terrible, okay? And then my copy is still amazing, so the campaign actually still performs, regardless of the fact that the rest of these suck and I have really shitty deliverability. Like, I think I can get away with a lot of things that most people can't because my copy just tends to be a lot higher quality. Anyway, let me run you through in short this workshop that I delivered for my community a while back. And I can't show you the entire workshop because that would decrease the perceived value of makemoneywithmake.com, which is a private community where I share stuff like this openly, right? But I am going to give you the cliff notes. And then, if you like this sort of stuff more, feel free to check out that community and maybe jump in. So in my workshop, I basically ran through live real copy from all the people that joined, and I optimized it, and we went through, we did some spitballing. It was Upwork, it was like cold emails and so on and so forth. Okay. So just to give you a brief little primer of copywriting, or the way that I do copywriting is the way that I do it is I will follow these 3 principles. The first is I will make my copy as information dense as possible. That just means I will use as few words as possible to say what it is that I want to say. The second thing is I'll make my copy super personalized. So I'm making my messaging feel very handcrafted to the recipient, which is very important. And the third is I will optimize per platform. Now, you're using cold email, right? In cold email, you have access to a few things that other platforms don't give you access to. For instance, people can see your profile pic. They could see your subject line. They could see a teaser. The first, 100 characters or so of your email actually shows up in the email thing. So if the first 100 characters are enticing, people are more likely to click. You could see your attachments. If you have any attachments in the email, you can actually see it. And specifically what you do is you see the file type, okay? Then you also see the file name as well as the file extension. So the reason why I'm giving you all of these is because these are all tools in cold email that you could use to improve the opens and improve the replies. These are basically like the levers that you have available to you that you could pull, okay? So these are the 3 things that I abide by anytime I'm writing high quality copy. Now, what I find people will usually do is they will usually write emails that are too long. So yours might be too long. They write emails that are too unpersonalized. So emails that are like, hello, Nick, I run this super cool company and that's why I'm awesome and stuff. And here is the service we're providing, right? You can't write an email like that because emails aren't advertisements, okay? They're basically, I want you to think of it as you sending a handwritten note to your lover in like the 19th century or something. You were walking down the street and you saw some chick's beautiful ankles and you were like, oh my God, I have to write her an email. You're going to customize the hell out of the first 2 lines of that puppy, right? That's basically how you need to respond to people nowadays. Obviously, you should not be complimenting people's ankles, although maybe that's a cold email strategy that I haven't explored fully. Hey, Peter, nice ankles. No, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. You want to personalize the hell out of it. And then the last thing is, what the hell? Oh, you're not answering questions. So when I say answers questions, I mean, when I get a cold email from somebody, we're going to do something a little risky, okay? Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. We're going to do something a little bit risky. We're going to go over to my email address and I'm going to go to people selling me shit. Then I'm just going to scroll down and I'm going to find a couple of emails that I think are trash. This one's probably trash. Okay. So this is a good example of a cold email that just doesn't really make any sense from this wonderful dude, Homero, at Infomedia. So what is the very first question that you have when you see a cold email in your inbox? The very first question you have is this spam? That is the very first question that you have, because nowadays we live in an environment where a lot of people are sending spam. So is this spam? Is this relevant to me? Okay. That's the very first question you have to answer in your cold email. And you basically have to make that answer no. So there are a few ways that you could do so. assistance for left click probably just isn't it, dog. You probably, if you write assistance for left click or something like that, people will probably still consider it spam. If the first few lines of the email, okay, and I can't see it here because, we're bundling a few replies in there. But if the first one is, hey, Nick, to give you more context, our professionals are skilled in the latest technologies, including Python, SQL, Apache Spark. If the first thing that I see is not something that's personalized or customized to me, well, I've just answered that question as spam, okay? So I wouldn't even click on this. I wouldn't even register the open, right? I might just mark it as spam or delete it or block it or whatever. So the very first thing you have to do is you have to verify that this person does not think that your email is spam. How do you do it? You customize the hell out of the title or subject line, and you make it seem as if it's plausible deniability that like maybe you're reaching out for some reasons that aren't cold email. It's kind of hacky, it's kind of clever, but imagine if instead of assistance for left click, it's like, I don't know, left clicks last, well, let me see, what is the context? This IT talent. Left clicks, hiring left clicks team, or like can we hire you? Or can I, work with you, or something along those lines. I guess the point that I'm making is give the people that are on the other end of the email multiple reasons why you might have sent that email so that they don't just think you're selling them something. They don't just think that you're spamming them with some bullshit offer they don't care about. Like make it seem as if, Homero at Launch Info Media is like, hey, imagine if the title was like, hey, I know this is really out of the blue, but I run a very similar company and I just wanted to ask you ... Okay. Like I, as somebody that gets a ton of these emails every day, how much more likely am I to think, oh, this is probably a legitimate person? How much more likely am I to actually click on the freaking thing in the first place? Okay. So plausible deniability in the personalization. Make the first teaser here of 100 characters, 150 characters, whatever. Make it something where it's like, hey, Nick, as I mentioned, I know this is really out of the blue, but I've been watching your stuff, or I've really enjoyed like learning about what you've been saying over the course of the last few months. I run a really similar ... and then all of a sudden it times out. Aren't I going to at least want to click this email and like go into it before I make my decision on whether it's spam? Yeah, obviously. The next thing that people are going to ask themselves is, hey, who the hell is this guy? So now I know that it's not spam, but who the hell is this person in the first place? So that's where you need to answer the question. And this person doesn't do it at all. Now, my recommendation is literally identify yourself, okay? You have some personalized introduction here where it's like, hey, Nick, I love your stuff. I've been watching it for a while, blah, blah, blah. And you can use AI for this, no problem. Once you're done with that, though, identify yourself. Just say like, hey, I'm Homero. I run a really similar business and we do X, Y, and Z, really cool thing. So now you're identifying who you are. So now it's like, okay, I've answered the question of whether this is spam. I've answered the question of, hey, who the heck is this person that's reaching out to me? What's the next question that's on my mind? Like stop and pause the video and see if you can answer this. The next question on my mind is, why does this matter? Right? And so why does Homero matter? Why does this guy, whose name I'm totally butchering most likely, why is he worth a few more seconds of my time? Usually what you do is you pop some social proof in there. So you say, I just finished up a project for Microsoft, or like Microsoft just hired me to do X, Y, and Z. And it's really similar to something I could do for you. So I thought I'd just chime in, right? Or I don't know, I've generated $133,000 last month with this approach. So I thought I'd at least ping you and say hello, right? Now it's like, oh, my ears sort of perk up and it's like, oh, like that's why this matters, because he's not just some random dude. This guy's making a lot of money. He's associated with this big company. He has some sort of thing, right? And then finally, what's that last question? I've verified that this isn't spam. I've verified who this person is. They've identified themselves. That's my next question. After that, I verified why Homero actually matters. What's that last point? The last point is, okay, so what do you want to do about it? So what are you here for, man? What are we going to, let's get down to brass tacks. Do you want to chat? Do you want to sell me something? Do you want to call? Do you want to send me over a video? Like, what are we doing next? And so if you get in the habit of copywriting in a way that anticipates the person that will be reading its needs, which is really a form of radical empathy, if you think about it, you'll be a lot more successful for sure. So that's my copy advice. And like the rest of the stuff is important as well. Like make sure you're scraping a good audience. Make sure you're talking to people that are not like being blasted with 8 quadrillion emails a day, but are also probably a little bit more wealthy, that have a little bit more money, that have the time to respond to you. Like make sure you're not sending a bunch of emails to contractors or something like that. Or I don't know. Make sure you're not like sending a bunch of like Loom videos to contractors at like 9 a.m. when most of them are going to be on site, not really have the time to sit down and click a little button. Do you know what I mean? Like make sure you're talking to the right crowd with the right sort of messaging. Yeah. And then tactics, sending times, days, spin tax, deliverability. A lot has been written on this. I'm not going to rehash it, but just check out like instantly sending guidelines if you guys want that. Just type like instantly, I don't know, best sending times or something, and there'll be tons written on that. So personally, that's what I would do in your case on us to optimize that first. To optimize that first problem, which is the you not being able to convert positive replies into meetings. Now, the other case is that you've gotten 8 meetings, okay? And then you've gotten 0 closes. If you've gotten 8 meetings and 0 closes, that's a different problem entirely. That's less of a problem with cold emails, more a problem with like how you're selling. So in that case, my recommendation for you would be get some sort of standardized sales script, consultative selling based sales script that asks them a few questions, guides them through their pain points, has them press upon their pain points a lot. I have a bunch of templates of scripts and stuff like that in Maker School and also makemoneywithmake.com. So if that's something you guys want to take a peek at, feel free. I bring it up in the first couple of days or like the first few weeks of the program. So and that everybody's on the same page. But essentially, I guess my point is you just need to improve your consultative selling skills and you need to standardize your sales process so that it's not like a roll of the dice basically every time that you get on a call with somebody. Hopefully that helps. And then, make sure to check your deliverability with those testers that I talked about earlier. Go Squeezy says, "Hey Nick, your channel's been super valuable and motivating when it comes to automation. Seriously, some of the best insights out there. Thank you." I gotta do a little thumbs up here so that gets out of my inbox. Some of the best insights out there. I've noticed most automation discussions tend to focus on agents, email marketing, and content creation. Do you think there's a big opportunity in optimizing internal processes? I'm working on streamlining a Google Drive workspace setup for a contractor or PM, and I'm leaning towards CRM automation. Would love to hear your thoughts on how this space compares to those other trends. Yeah, I think there's a ton of opportunity here. You could totally build a really successful business just optimizing internal processes. To be honest, that was most of what LeftClick did for the first year or so when I was working with my partner, Noah. So I shifted over primarily to growth systems because growth systems just make more money. But that's not to say that optimizing internal processes doesn't also make a lot of money. You just need to think about it as like a percentage of top line versus bottom line. Like typically speaking, if this is all of the revenue that a company makes at the top, right? Maybe this is like, I don't know, $1 million. Maybe we're just talking per year, then they're not going to make $1 million unless their margins are 100% by the end of the year. What they're going to make is they're going to make some subset of this, right? So when you are improving growth, what you're doing is you're adding here. And when you're optimizing internal processes, like for the most part, what you're doing is you're improving margin. This isn't entirely accurate because if you make your internal processes faster, you improve throughput, which actually increases how many people you can get through the door. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you improve this by 10%, right? What's 10% of 250K? Well, that's 25K. If you improve this by 10%, well, it's 10% of 1 million. Well, it's 100K. So let's say you charge as a percentage of the value you provide. How much are you going to be able to charge if you deliver 100K value versus 25K value? Obviously more for the 100K, right? It's also usually a lot easier, in my humble opinion, to just like copy and paste an outreach system into businesses than it is to be very diligent and uncover the fulfillment issues and so on and so forth. Although I do think that the internal processes are a lot more rewarding because when you build a well-oiled machine and a pipeline, incredible. Okay, Steve says, "Love your content, been watching you grow for months. Thank you. You got me into AI automation, AI voice series using VAPI. Yes, please, dude. Thank you. I'm currently learning VAPI inbound and outbound, so be grateful to learn how to do those as well. There are so many videos out there that don't make them very well using any of your logic and standard to them, actually being able to do what you want them to do." Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of potential with these VAPI agents. As I mentioned in the video where I created one, we're just now getting to the point where these things are actually capable enough to do things. Right? Now, are they going to do things super reliably? No, they're not going to be like 100% reliable, but there are a lot of cases in which that's fine. So yeah, for sure. I'll probably be doing some more VAPI videos. The VAPI outbound calling is a little rougher. I don't know if I'll do that because I think that's illegal in the United States now for one, and two, I just don't have as much. I just don't consider it as valuable unless you're like reactivating a list or something. But I don't know. Maybe I'll chat about it. Eduardo looks like compliments the hell out of me. I wake up, have an idea, jump on a YouTube to learn how to do it. Nick just posted a masterclass on the topic. Repeat. Thank you. Every single day. Thank you on the quality content. Can't believe it's free. It is free. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Sinatra. Appreciate it. Anas says, "Can you talk about how I can sell the email categorization system, how to deliver it, and how to build it from zero? Thanks. I really love your videos, man. You're really helpful." No problem. So how do you sell the email categorization system? I presume you're probably talking about the system that I showed you guys where I was just showing it to you guys where new email comes in, I categorize it as like, hey, what is this? People selling me stuff, invoices and receipts, whatever. How would you actually sell the email categorization system? Well, you'd find people that have probably high throughputs of emails, to be honest. So what are some industries in which you get a ton of emails? I might like start there. To be honest, we all get tons of emails. So there's a lot of interest on this across industries, by the way. Like I've talked to like really big companies that they're literally like, dude, my inbox is my bottleneck. If I can solve that in bottleneck by like 10%, my entire business grows by 10%. And I'm like, all right, well, you probably shouldn't make your whole business your inbox, but here's how you can make it better. So yeah, like a lot of people want this stuff. So yeah, I would, get 3 niches or so of people that you think are realistically going to be interested in having some sort of easier time with their email. And then I would start running outreach. So I would do, like templated Loom videos, just like Abdul up here saying, right? Maybe 10 outreaches a day. I'd do, Upwork. I'd look for people I'd use like automation, and then I'd also use email as like one of my keywords. And then I just go through jobs every morning for like, half an hour to an hour, apply it to anyone that is like talking about email systems. Because when you do the work for them for whatever their problem is, you can very quickly and easily upsell an email categorization system. It's mostly templated at this point. Anyway, I guess the point I'm making is, so I would do niches, and then I would do some sort of daily minimum outreach. And now I'm assuming that you have some sort of lead flow coming in, okay? Once you have some sort of lead flow coming in, it's pretty easy. All you do is you build a templated list of categories. So first is build lead flow, right? I'm now assuming, how do I do hotkeys again? I wanted to do hotkeys. I think it's SR. Okay, so the first one is build lead flow, right? Now we built lead flow. The second thing is we need to build template. And don't build the template until you build the lead flow. Like you will build the template by doing the project the first time for the person that you're working with. It's not you don't have to like make it 100% perfect. When I say template, I just mean, think about it. Like, realistically, the way the flow works is you have a new email that comes in. Then there's some sort of categorization AI, and then that just splits it into one of X categories, right? So this might be invoices. This might be, I don't know, Q&A. These might be leads. This might be something else. So odds are, if you're working with a specific type of business, these categories are going to be the same. So that's it. You just create like an OpenAI module in Make, or an OpenAI node in N8N that does the categorization. Actually, in N8N, you can even just use like the categorization node, which I think is built in now. So once that's done, then you just have some sort of like action. So in my case, my actions are move to label. So move to the specific label, plus mark as read. I just don't want to see them anymore. Okay. So that's what I do. But, swap these out for whatever you want. So now you have a template. And then, to be honest, what else is there? What did you mention? Delivery? Wrong one. How to build it from zero? Yeah. How to deliver it? Yeah. So the delivery is going to come after you do the building, obviously. But and then 3, just deliver. The way that you do the deliver, you need to have access to their email, right? So basically, you sign the client, okay? And then you do a kickoff call. On the kickoff call, you say, hey, super excited. Here's the project. Here are the timelines. Here are my expectations. All I need to do now is just get access to your email address. So just send over access to your email. They either change their password if they're using the same password for everything, like a lot of business owners will do their main Gmail for, and then just give it to you. There'll be some 2-factor authentication involved, most likely. The 2FA means that they'll just get a text message that they will read off of their phone and give to you as a code that'll enable you to sign in. Or there'll be some like Gmail bullshit where they have to, I don't know, like click a little button with a number in it. And then after they've done that, your login will go through on your end. Now you have access to their Gmail. What you do is you set up a webhook or a mail hook, I should say. It's very easy to do in Gmail. But basically, all incoming emails just get forwarded over to a Make scenario or an N8N scenario workflow. And then now you have access to all of their emails every time a new email comes in. And so then you just run the template. And then voila. And now the 2FA will probably expire after like a week or something. Maybe even sooner, depending on if you move around a lot, or if you're in a country that historically is associated with a lot of spam. I would get timed out in the Philippines when I was working down there for like every 48 hours or so, which is a massive pain in my ass, but whatever. It doesn't really matter because you still have the mail hook that's sending the emails, right? So all's good. So you have to forward the email, I guess is what I'm saying. That's what you have to do. Then run the template, and then like do a delivery email, and then that's about it, honestly. Run for a week. You probably want like a 1 week standardized run period where at the end of it, you're like, hey, what sort of changes would you like to make? And then after that, just collect the payment. It's probably what I'd do. So, 50% up front. And then, you get 50% delivery after the 1 week period, something like that. 1 week, few days, whatever the hell you want. That's how I do it though. I like doing this stuff because a lot of people never really get into the nitty gritty of what like a delivery process actually looks like. A lot of people are just like, oh, just do this. So hopefully that gives you guys some context. KKK, I got one more question from Abdul, and then I'll jump into my brand stats. He says, hey, Nick, thanks for responding to my earlier question. I'm aiming to do about 10 outreaches a day, but since I'm still working 9 to 5, I usually manage around 7 to 8 looms. I have a follow-up question about niches. That's cool. The 7 to 8 looms is fine. I'm based in Australia. So far, I've been targeting builders and inspectors. My response and open rates have been pretty low, with only one prospect interested in a discovery call. Even then, they didn't have the time. Do you think I might be targeting the wrong niche? Should I focus more on office-based clients who might have a better chance of checking their emails? Any thoughts would be great. Yeah, for sure. I mean, make it easy for yourself, right? Like go digital, first of all. If you don't know this, if you don't know what I mean by that, just go niche Nick Saraev. There'll be some videos here. Not that one. Don't look at that one. Look at these ones. The best 3 AI automation agency niches in 2025, and then one for 2024. Check these out. I mentioned a couple things that are really important when you're looking for a niche. One is that it's digital, so they just are accessible. As you mentioned, office-based. They're just monitoring their email inbox, basically, because it's a big chunk of their business. Another one is make sure it is B2B, because that's the easiest thing to deliver results for. They're typically a lot more ROI focused, and they typically also have more money. And there are a variety of other things that I focus on too. So I'm not saying you might be targeting the wrong niche. I can't actually say that for you because you haven't told me how many outreach, like how many you've sent, right? All you've said is that I'm doing 7 to 8 per day, but I've only gotten one prospect interested so far. So it's like, I mean, like if you did this for 1 day and you got 1 out of 7 prospects interested, that's amazing. If you've been doing this for 3 months and you've sent, 630 of these, and then you've gotten 1 prospect interested for a call, then that would be terrible, right? So I don't know for sure. But yeah, make your life easy, man. Target the niches that are like in the office, that are digitally accessible, that you could scrape leads for really easily, and so on and so forth. That's what I would do. Okay, let me run through and just like exit out a bunch of these that don't have questions on them because this looks super intimidating to me. Keys and Coffee says, which Nick Saraev video should I watch first? Thank you. I don't know. It's a good question. We got a bunch of people that are saying very nice things about me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Need more hoodie neck? Yeah, hoodie neck is a vibe, huh? Just like snapback neck is a vibe. This is a pretty easy answer, so I'll just give it to Shashanka. Do I work alone with a business partner, or do I have a dedicated team? No, I work alone right now. I don't have a business partner for my left click agency anymore. I used to, but we parted because of some disagreements surrounding fulfillment. Essentially, he wanted to run the organization more as like a software development agency where we took on custom projects, and it was way more interesting. But I had to get that like come to Jesus moment where I was like, well, am I focused on making this interesting, or am I focused on making a lot of money? So yeah. How much revenue derives from billing client work? Last month, about 25K. YouTube and content or membership was 114K. So yeah, 114K for my content. So content is definitely the biggest stream of my revenue now. I've talked about this pretty often along my journey. Basically every month over the course of the last like 6 months, the proportion of money that I've made relative through like my recurring client relationships and new projects, and then my content has just like just ballooned way the hell up towards content. So obviously, anytime that somebody gets into coaching or whatever, and they grow and I have like more YouTube subscribers and stuff, that's going to happen. And I'm just proportionately giving my time to the thing that demonstrates and gives me a higher ROI right now, which is content. But yeah, I do agree. I do agree that you need to make sure that they're apples to apples for sure. Cool. Okay. I think I'm now done with everything that is not a question, which means tomorrow should be able to just bang through a bunch of cues. It's going to be easy lemon squeezy. Let us jump over to brand stats. How much have I grown in the last 24 hours? Going to head over to my main channel, 59,322. Paste that in there. Instagram, I'm ready with it today. 43,193. Ooh, that's a chunky bit of growth there. Now, what about my daily updates channel? Wrong tab there. 1618. That's pretty cool. I mean, when I say pretty cool, look at the growth here and how much it's slowed, but what are you going to do? Let's get to everybody's most funnest and most loved part. Me not knowing how Google Sheets works, clearly. Google Sheets kind of zooms in while also zooming around the place. It's annoying. Look at that. Look at that. That's happening. It's finally happening. I've been talking about this nonstop for the better part of the last month, man, but it's happening. We're going to meet. Cataclysmic. Supernova. Excitement. This is happening. Instagram's going to be bigger than YouTube. And it's only going to be in a month and a half. I got to put the dates down here, man. I definitely got to put the dates down here. I don't like the way this looks. I want to get some dates. All right, x-axis that. X-axis is going to be the dates. So February the 1st to March the 14th. This is A2 to A43. A2, A43, man. Look at this. I don't know where this is. Can I not see this? Didn't I just select the range? Select the goddamn range. Sheet 1, A2, A43, good, click OK. Okay, the x-axis apparently does not want to cooperate for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm just very stupid and terrible at Google Sheets. I'm honestly not sure what's going on there, but whatever. I would like to have the dates down here. So if anybody here is not a total freaking moron when it comes to Google Sheets like me, maybe chime in. Cool. That's my brand stats. Let's jump over to this project that I've been working on for the better part of the last few days, which is my website. So I'm doing my website myself again because I think it's really important to have total control over your own brand. And because formerly did a ton of website design, I find it fun. It's enjoyable. I like doing websites. You know what I added since last time? For the very smart among you and keen, you'll notice that the background on this is now a little different. You know what it was? I added a grain layer, which I think just makes any website look really, really cool. So this is the website before. No grain layer. Okay. And then this is the website after. See how there's just that little bit of grain now? See what I mean? I just think that looks so much better. Grain, no grain. Grain, no grain. I don't know why I find grain layers cool, but I do. I've made a couple of changes since the last time as well. Running through, so I have my little wavy point here. That's nice. I changed it from B2B founders to B2B companies. Just because now that I'm bigger, I'm probably, now that I'm bigger, what I'm finding is a lot more of the people I'm talking to are at bigger businesses that will then like chatting with me and whatnot, but they'll also have other people involved. So it's not just the founders I'll be working with, right? Sometimes it's some director or something. That's fine, to be expected. I have clarified some of my value props. I've added some case studies here. I thought this would be a great opportunity to demonstrate how I do my case studies, how to bootstrap case studies from success, from start to finish, which is really just where you use your own business or your own businesses as examples of the case studies. So I decided I would use my Instagram as an example because I also have a lot of people that are reaching out to me now asking me how I do my Instagram growth and whether I can work with them for Instagram growth and stuff. So, it's not this is more marketing automation than systems and growth automation. I guess it is growth automation, but whatever. Have my coaching case study and then my 8-figure content company case study as well. I was considering adding a bunch more, going to 8 or something, but I figure I just keep it to the top few. Odds are, if you are a sort of business that does not find any of these valuable, we're probably not the sort of people to work together. Sure, I could work with a business that makes, that's 10, I don't know how many millions of dollars that is, about 10 million, I believe, euros. This was, $3.5 million. This is my own business, is a million. So I'm really covering the whole landscape here. I don't really want to be working with people much smaller than this, I guess is what I'm saying. So if you're not a business that fits in here, that wouldn't find any of these valuable, you're probably not somebody I want to work with. Okay, next up, I have all this ugly ass white space. So why is this here? I don't know. There's some bug, I guess. Yeah, we have some bug. I just wanted to go grid. Then I wanted to go 5 columns, 6 columns, and then 1 row. There you go. So down here is going to be a bunch of logos. Now, I put my own Popular Mechanics logo in there because I love being able to say that I was featured in Popular Mechanics. The thing is, this is about my company. My company wasn't featured in Popular Mechanics. So, a couple of sneaky ways you can get around this, marketing claim-wise. Instead of you saying, we've been featured in, what you say is, our team has been featured in. So, people in our team have been featured in, basically. Or our team, I don't know, our members have been featured in or something, right? And then you can actually cite the cool magazine entries that you've been featured in. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, I got featured in a Popular Mechanics a while ago, which is like a science magazine, because I apparently am not rich enough to be able to make it. Can science cure death? I was quoted, and I was actually the feature of this. How cool is that? By this lovely woman, Jacqueline, who, see that N? That's me, baby. Who is very interested in some of my early blog articles on longevity. To make a long story short, I am trying to get as young as possible. I'm doing the Brian Johnson drinking orphan blood routine. No, I don't know if you guys know who that is, but basically he's gotten very controversial recently because he has taken blood transfusions from his son. And it's specifically because there was some evidence showing that people that take blood transfusions from younger people that share the same blood type and, most of the same genes and DNA or whatever, actually end up having much better and younger age markers. So they end up living a little longer. There's legitimate blood boys from, Mad Max. Anyway, I talked about a couple of the things I was doing, like drinking longevity smoothies and taking fish oil and stuff. And Jacqueline really liked it. So they came over. And in Port Moody, BC, which is where I lived, we went out to a park and they took a bunch of photos of me looking very juicy, I might say. Those forearms have not looked like that in a while. Yeah, so that's pretty exciting, and totally an aside. Reviews, I still have to add some sections, and then I've changed these services here. I think we talked about this last time. And then I've added some pricing. I've clarified my pricing. You know who I really like here? These guys called Baked Design. And so I just shamelessly stole how they pitch their productized service. Somewhere around here. Right over here. This is what you get. You get 2 updates per week, senior designer, framer, webflow, private Slack channel, no contracts, cancel anytime, no meetings. Now, in my case, I am offering a meeting. It's optional. You don't have to have the meeting, but you can. What I've done is I've shamelessly taken this senior automator. I like this because I feel like I'm going to have to do something like this because I don't want to be the main touch point. But then for my lower price retainers, which is going to be $7,800 USD a month, I'm going to offer, which is an upgrade from the last one. It's, 900 extra US dollars. For this, I'm going to offer a meeting with me. So you still get a meeting with me every week. And I did the math on how my time scales. If it's 30 to 45 minutes, then that's 2 hours per month for 7,800 USD client. I'm assuming I'm going to make $3,000 to $4,000 of profit per month off one of these clients. So assuming that it's 2 hours for about $3,000 to $4,000, $1,500 an hour, it's good. This one will actually have me building the systems alongside you. So I'm charging a $4,500 premium, $4,500 a month, assuming that I'm going to be spending somewhere around the lines of, 10 to 15 hours of actual building time. Again, sort of, it works out when you do the profit and stuff. But I am going to be working with specialists on this. You're not just going to be getting me. So yeah, I've done a fair amount of that work there. That looks quite pretty. I've also changed the branding and changed the logo a little bit. I've changed the colors a bit. It looks different now than it did before. I'm considering changing the fonts. We'll see. But that's where I'm at with that right now. Do I want to do more work on this? No, not really. I have something I have to get to, unfortunately. But I guess, yeah, you can just consider this an update of how the website's going. It is continuing to come together, and I will find some logos and stuff like that. And then my next step is just I need to build out the specific pages. What do I mean by pages? I mean, like when you actually access this website. Ooh, man, these loading animations are very sexy. Look at this. Oh, that just adds a whole new dimension to this. When you click on it, it's going to take you to some case study page, right? So I'm just going to go into detail about the case study page, and then down here at the bottom, there'll be more case studies that you can immediately go to. I guess I also got to change some of the template files here, but whatever. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Pretty exciting, huh? I'm pretty stoked with it. I think that it's going to be really fun. I'm almost done, to be honest. I was anticipating this to take 5 hours. I mean, I've probably spent 2 hours on it so far, hour and a half to 2 hours, just chatting through it with you guys, running you guys through my website development process and how I do that. I buy the templates basically, have the designer do 99.9% of the work for me, and they just come in to swap out some of the text and the colors, which is, what I'd recommend anybody that doesn't have much time like I do not do. But it's really coming together, and I think it's going to be a pretty good funnel, all things considered. I don't think that I need to be perfect with the CRO and stuff like that, because I'm selling to a very warm audience that really likes me and that obviously has a ton of goodwill with me. And I have one of the widest top of funnels of anybody in the space right now, aside from maybe, I don't know, Liam Motley, who's definitely bigger than me, which reminds me, I need to get back to him because he shot me a text. I will do that now before I forget. Okay. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Keep posting those questions. Rock on.